Hi everybody, I wanted to give you some quick video feedback. Students find that being able to see each other's work really helps them. So if you are able to, go ahead and watch all of the feedback video, but if not, go ahead and scrub to your section and make sure that you implement all of those items that are listed. You'll want to make notes of those because you are asked in your revision assignment to bullet, the feedback that you were given. So I want to give you that heads up. So I'm going to go through as a first-time user so you get that benefit of, how does somebody interact with your site immediately. Even if I've looked at some of these, of course I have, but that's what we're going for. So Daniel, really clear, contrast is great, really nice in that respect. I like the white with the black and some red, just the right amount of ratio. Without looking violent or anything. This video in the background is going to slow your site down, and I'm not sure that it really gives you anything. We have to scroll to get to important things, but that said, it's not really the only thing it probably will do is slow your site down, as long as it's original. All right, so, however, contact page really needs to go last. That's a web standard. People are used to finding it there. That's where they look for it. We want things to be really easy for people. Okay, we don't want them to have to think too much when they come to our site, unfortunately, because they're not used to reading, right? When they're online, they're mostly skimming, and pretty much we all do it because we're online so often. Not sure this, okay, that looks like it is linking to your project, so good. We go down here, you might want to make this background header solid. You do have it frozen to where it is staying, but the background is transparent. So in places, it's going to be really hard to read and it will overlap text, okay? So that's what you want to do with that, is just have this whole background, or at least most of that follow with it. You could, although I do like how it's clean like this, you could, have the little pill shapes that are white behind it or boxes behind it if you wanted. The paragraph text is always left aligned. If you look in your resources, everybody, you'll see all kinds of articles to support why we do some of the things we do, in case you're wondering. But left alignment is because the eye returns to the same location. It makes it easier for people to read, at least in our country where we read left to right. So that's what we do. It also gives you a nice clean edge. And so that's a requirement. Not a requirement, but ideally for design, you want these to be the same length, your columns of text, because it will really keep things looking better. If you can word things to be one word, like you have here, if this could be one word, that's better. It's really struggling to fit inside this shape. It probably would work better without it. Or if it had, a square shape here or rectangle there, it might be better. But the thing is, it looks accidental, right? Because of where it's overlapping and not overlapping and so forth. So that needs to be better aligned. You can close this up a little bit so we have a little less scrolling. Very nice. Okay, clean. And okay. Remove this space and this. The footer is going to be narrow because we don't want to take up prime real estate, and that's just adding scrolling and so forth. So close that up, but it's looking great. Let's see if your links are working. Okay. Okay, you can move the anchor that is right above the strip that has this content so that when you select team, it goes to the team anchor and it will line up where you want it to. Again, that's going to be last. It's not linking currently. Projects, remove this. As cinematographers, you definitely want to have your original work. This is a template, and this is the whole thing is here. Nope, it wasn't. It just looks like a template. Okay, good. What you want to do, okay, you've listed a paragraph about what it is. If you could sort of itemize it in a consistent way, not bullet, but, you know, the name of it, what your role was, what gear you may have used, or apps and things like that. Okay. All right. Well, that's just fascinating. Okay. Yeah, and we just don't need this. We need to get into your work a little quicker. You could bring this down a little. And yeah, just work on the asset guides a little bit, but otherwise the layout is working really well. Okay, the layout is working well. You do want to close up some of this space and make the spacing consistent between your rules and your work, all right? Okay, and so for this, there are a couple of ways you can fix this. You can add a contact link under your home page in your pages and menu in your Wix editor, and you can have an anchor there that will, when you select the contact, it goes there. Or you can remove this or copy it and eliminate this because it's not going anywhere, and create a new page. And when you create a new page, you'll just drag it under the projects in your pages and menu editor, and then you can paste this contact there if you like. But those are two ways to do it. To have it on a scrolling page, it has to go under the first page, which is the home, or to have it on a separate page, which is quickest, if you don't know how to do it, and just, you know, delete the one that's on the home. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try and pick up some speed a little bit here. The mobile version you're responsible for. See if that's how you wanted that. Left align this. A lot of people will need to edit this in their mobile version because it's too much scrolling. So you may want to take a paragraph out or a few lines. Let's see. This works a little better here because they almost, at least they're aligned here. Okay. And I would put your social media icons at the bottom. We never know where they're going to end up. And in this case, they're not on the page. Okay, so you'll want that to land here and probably have a little subheading for about. Okay, so you're going to work on your anchors, and that will happen in your desktop. Wherever they land in your desktop, they should work. Okay, but you get the idea. You can make some edits here. Take this out for sure. That's a more of a Wix image. Okay, so double check the layout. That's what we're looking for when we get to the mobile. And you probably want to have this in the header so that it's on every page. All right, that would be a good plan for you. All right, so great start. Start with the revisions in your desktop, and those will flow over to your mobile, the primary adjustments. Okay, and then you go in and tweak it. All right, great start. Okay, Angeline, clean, nice, good. You even have the catch light in the eye. Good job. Okay, these are template images, so be careful about that. If you can get these to be a little more consistent so that they're the same depth, that will look cleaner. You may want to do something to capitalize these or bold the headers. And definitely remove the placeholder phone number. Do not put a personal phone number, anyone. Put a Gmail address as opposed to your full cell. and hook up your LinkedIn at the very least. Okay. Okay. So these are buttons and they'll need to be linked. Okay. Maybe they're taking time. Sometimes if it's loading too slowly, it's simply because the file is too big. So be sure to optimize. Okay. We need to get into this a little quicker and remove this, update all of this, link these if they're going to be there. Okay. Okay, so this is stretched. We want to be careful about that. Okay, let's see. Try some alignment and make sure that your vertical spacing is the same. Nice. And we need to have a little bit of the asset guides included there, all right? Telling us, what the project was, what your role was, and, what Adobe apps you use, for example. Okay, that this is an ad that you created for a fictitious website, so forth. Okay, all right. Okay, so you'll update this as we talked about, and just put your socials here. Let's take a look. Okay, so this can happen when we have contacts in different places. It can kind of show up everywhere. So, you could put limited info in your footer if you like. All right. You don't have to have a phone number, by the way. See, it's quite a bit of scrolling before we get to the actual content. And when we have a navigation and someone is selecting that, they're looking for that information right away. So it's a promise we've made to them that if they check or select about, they're going to end up at that information. We probably don't even need this here. Okay, you've got it everywhere. So adjust it on the desktop and then see how it is looking. And you will revise this. Okay, I know some of you haven't looked at your mobile, but it's not, not too hard to fix. So be sure to check it out. All right, great start. Alondra, you've used text here that is much easier to read than the did not hear text font. So that was a good call. It could just be that it's in the get feedback that it's showing that way. But this is the one that I'm looking at. You definitely want to simplify some of your text choices. You've got 1, 2, 3, maybe a fourth one in your titles. Okay. Even, when it's italic, you can think of that as another font sometimes. So this, when I select, okay, that's another thing. The navigation is not showing up. Okay, I realize in the home version you have it up here, but it's not opening. I'm not getting that option. So that's an issue that you'll want to definitely work on first. I'm looking at this in the actual size, so this is kind of spread out too far. You'll bring that in. And it's best, make sure you let us know what your role was in all of these, because, there's so many. You could be a script writer, you could be the cinematographer, the director, or all of those things, or the editor. Full Sail is 2 words, okay? And let's left align. You'll need to put something over this, whether it is a black shape that is, I don't know, 90% transparent or something, but we can't read it when it's over this image. Okay, and I don't know where it's landing, but either way, there's really not a place where it's, where we can read that. I recommend a sans serif font, something, closer to a block font. It's easier to read. I can't even begin to check that out. Okay, good. You have everything you need in your footer. You may want to check and see if this is where your social icons are going, but that's someplace that you'll want to make sure you link up to your accounts, especially if you don't have these, take those off. But do have a LinkedIn, because people will check you out. They will want to, and if they can't, that will be unusual. This, you want to remove that Wix placeholder, and even if it's Lazy Ghost Productions, I would put something like Lazy Ghost up here. Okay, because I'm trying to make the connection between Alondra, the LG. I see it's Lazy Ghost Productions, but maybe it's LGP, maybe whatever you want, but that needs to be a little clearer. And I can't go through the navigation, so that's pretty important. Let's see what happens if I look at your mobile. Okay. See, these you'll want to I would just put them in your footer so they don't show up in strange places. Left align your text there. Put your socials here. You will need a contact form. 3 examples. Let's see. I'll have to look on your other one there. These. Okay, so that's going to featured work. You might want a larger header there for a little more hierarchy. The about's not linked up. So first thing you're going to start with is your navigation. That's going to be your first, and then change that, and then go into some of the details. All right. Let's see. Yeah, and you'll definitely need a contact page. Add that to this particular site. So if you need help, make sure you arrange for a meeting with me before Wednesday, because the holiday is coming, and I will be taking, I have to take my time off before the year ends, or I lose it. So anyway, I won't be available over the break. Okay, so no late work week 4. I won't have access to FSO. So please be sure to wrap everything up. All right, and it's best for you because you want to be able to have a great break. Okay, all right. But just make sure that you contact me, anybody who needs a one-on-one, so we can go through your site and make some corrections. All right. Okay, I think we need to bring this in just a little. It's a little wide. You can bring it over. I would pull this up, put Taylor Studios up here, actually. And just say I'm, Jashea Taylor, so that you don't even have to have your name there. You can have Taylor Studios, radio broadcaster. Okay, so just have your name down here, radio broadcaster under Taylor Studios. So this is going to be your tagline that tells people just exactly what you do. Super important. A lot of space there. We can close that up. If this, okay. Update this. Well, you don't have to now because we're going into 2023. All this space needs to be closed. Close this space. Okay. Always leave some space here, all right? Underneath and above under your paragraph and above your work, okay? You could make these larger and just add the asset guides to the right. And make sure you make it really easy for someone to skim and realize, what it is and what your role was. All right. Okay. All right. Take your personal number off if that's not a Google number. All right. Because your radio broadcast, what you're going to want to have, are some of your like SoundCloud or something like that as examples. All right. You can say designer here, but as far as broadcasting, you would have to have a separate section. I would recommend, pulling these up, the examples, so there's less scrolling, and then you can put broadcaster and some examples. If you have more broadcasting examples, then replace all of these with those and just have broadcaster. If that's what you want to do, focus on that. All right. Okay. Let's see what we have when we move over to your mobile. Okay, again, you'll have Taylor Studios up here. Okay. And then that won't happen. Okay, make your adjustments first in your desktop. Try and make this the same width as that. Okay. Yeah, I think when you make some sweeping changes, they're simple ones, but they're going to make a big difference. You'll also need your socials. Okay, make sure nothing's overlapping like this. Okay, this is working here better than on the home page. There's just so much space to be closed. And, if you're a broadcaster, if that's what you want to do, then, you could have your SoundCloud link, things like that. Okay, we'll just simplify this a little bit. I would change this color. The black on purple is not showing enough. If you like the pink, then make it these colors, right? The black with that pink. And yeah, okay. All right, great start. I'm really looking forward to how you are doing with these updates, right? It's going to be really fun. I think you're going to be excited when you see your site come together. Okay, Stephanie, let's increase the size of the navigation. That may have been pointed out earlier. Okay. Everybody make sure you're checking your spelling. I do, but it's really not something that you want me to spend time on. There are so many other things that I can help you with. And all you need to do is use Grammarly, or you can use the Chrome extension language tool. I use that a lot. Okay. It would be nice to get a little contrast there, but I get it. It's okay. Okay. Close up this space. But this is good. Okay, a little dark, but I'd put a little more space here, or if these are all caps, then you won't have that descender taking up this space. But we need a little more space between the title and the work. And make these the same amount of space. Nice. Okay. There's something about this, maybe because it's got this rule here. It needs a little space between the rule and this, but it's difficult to see if we make it smaller. Maybe it just needs padding over here. Maybe you just want this black square. you could then have white lines going across this, or just the lines in the black square without the white behind it. That might work well. You're all up there. Great. This is a Wix image. It doesn't, act as much like, a template, so it's okay, but it is a little difficult in places. You could either reduce the contrast or you can pull in a color like this, and just make sure that the background is not competing with this information, because that's what happens when we put a photo behind text, okay? But everything is working well and clean. You might want to make that centered. And like I said, I think just the black without the white behind it, in this case. Center these. And have your email. Okay, we need to put that in white, right? It's there, but we can't see it. This space, left align. Okay. The spacing. Try not to have one word on a line. You probably need a little more space there under that. Okay. Needs some reducing for less scrolling, right? Like to there would be good. Just a matter of what people will actually read online, especially on their mobile. Works a little better here. Just, I think this shade would be better throughout, so it's not so bright here, that image background. All right, very little left to do. I think just a few things are going to make it really tight, all right, that you can easily do. All right, great start. Okay. If this is your logo, I would put it over here. Ovals are really tough. They really are. I would avoid it. I would just take it out. The spacing, isn't the same. They just don't work very often with our rectangles and things. So I would just take that red border out. I would move that over here if this is yours, your own design. Let's make sure we're looking at actual size. Okay. Okay. You might want just instead of written out, you may just want the icons. You have contact there, you have content. Okay. Probably could be optimized, let's see. All right, so I see you're trying to get this in the center. And you could do that. You could have that in the center, and you could have digital Montes underneath it. But they need to be closer together. Good. Good. The asset is clear what your job was, which is what you want. You need to say productions or something there. When this is in the logo section, it will take me back to the home page like this one. Probably bring this line up. Good. Nice. Yeah, I would bring these down here. I think they're going to fall in strange places. And they kind of distract from your navigation. Okay. Nice, we'll see where that goes. A little bit of space here. You see how much space you've got here and here? You just need a little more underneath this image before this taught. I know it reduces scrolling, by keeping it closer, but it just needs that space. Nice. Okay. This may end up down here. Might be better. We'll see. Okay. All right. I'm anxious to see what it's going to look like on mobile. Okay. I'm going to close that up, and you have this in 2 places. Okay. I think you need a home button. Close this up just a little. Double check. Yeah, okay. So I think you get the idea. When you look at this, you're going to make your adjustments. Well done. Everything is there. It just needs to be tweaked, right? Good job. I'm excited to see this. It's going to look great. All right. Okay. Brian. Nice. These were humorous. So we've got a little bit of scrolling. The thing is, these are stock images. That's the main thing you want to remove, even if you come straight into this. Okay, but we want to, these are, obviously interesting because they're set, but they're not original. I see them every month, all the time. And so people in your industry will too. And because you're a cinematographer, you are selling your work. So make sure you start taking behind the scenes photos when you're working. You can, do a tabletop of gear to take that photo if you want. You don't need to have this many, but yeah, go out when other people are shooting that who don't mind signing a, release, model release. You do need to have your social here. People will try and find you to know if they, find out more about you. And you can put your website link there. Let's see. Probably turn that into, bring that studios up if you are going to keep that. Left align this. And we need to bring this up for sure, okay? This space needs to go. And this is taking us, it doesn't take us away from your site because we still have it open, but, and it's not like YouTube where once they go, they can't come back to your site because now they're in the, world where everything has been catered to them and tailored just for them. So it's not doing that, and that's great. We do need to have some asset guides, right? We need to know without searching exactly what it is, what your role is, that this is a short trailer, that kind of thing. I do like the logo. You might want a version that is just, a solid that will go on other things or just a rule. It's a good idea for everybody to have that. I would use, if you're going to have a sans serif here, just like you've put production in, you have a serif here, you put production in sans serif, I would also put something like this in a sans serif. Do make sure you're watching how many fonts you're using. You have the typewriter font here, so be sure to watch that. And just, basically 2 fonts is good, but do remember what you're using, and your logo does read as a font as well. And sans serifs are just clean and easy. We don't need a welcome page as long as it is welcoming, remember? So, and again, remove those images. You can go straight into your about if you'd rather.